Hey everybody, today I am going to be doing a video on surviving the military, and this is actually a collab video between me and a few other mothers that are all military wives or girlfriends or something of that nature. And it's not branch specific, we all go through similar things, but just to share our experiences a little bit, maybe help each other out and form a little bit of a community here. Being a military spouse is definitely not easy, but it can also be super rewarding. Sven is in the Air Force Reserves, if you didn't already know that. He is, and he joined around the time we got married. Not quite 7 years yet. In that time, our experience has been, we had 10 months apart when he first went to basic and skill school. We waited almost a year before he went to basic, but then when he went to basic, it was 2 months where you can't talk at all. You don't get to talk on the phone. You don't get to have any kind of internet access or anything like that. So we only talked through old-fashioned snail mail. And it was actually kind of cool in that sense that you could really write letters to each other and express your feelings, and a lot of people don't do that kind of things anymore, so there was an aspect of that was nice, and Steven actually saved all my letters to him, and we got into them just the other day, but it's kind of sweet that we have that to look back on. And then after that, he had 8 months of skill school that I had 10 months total apart. And that was when he left when I was 9 weeks pregnant with our daughter and came back when she was 6 weeks old. So it was definitely at a major time in our lives, and it was definitely difficult. But the skill school part was a little easier because we could talk on the phone to each other, and we did get to see each other on occasion. Like every 2 or 3 months we would have like a weekend trip where we could see each other for a day or two. So there was that. But it was definitely hard because we basically started living like single people. I mean, we were faithful to each other, but he was living his life over here, and I was living my life over here as a pregnant mom and working. And then eventually when our daughter was born, it was kind of like I was a single mom, and I brought her home as a newborn by myself, and I got used to parenting by myself and kind of had my way of doing things. And when he came home when she was 6 weeks old, there was definitely issues we had to work through there, because you had me living my life without him, and even though we talked, like I would go see my friends when I wanted to, I would watch whatever shows I wanted to watch, I would put Evelyn on the schedule I wanted her to be on, and then you had him who was working like pretty short days in the military, and when he got off work, I mean, his meals were cooked for him, his rooms, like all he had to do was make his bed. He didn't have chores to do. He didn't have a family to take care of. So he was hanging out with friends all the time. He was basically living like a bachelor lifestyle. So I had been doing things alone, and when he came back, we had a rough several months of working through me expecting him to do everything because I felt like he owed me, and him expecting to not need to do anything because he had gotten used to that a little bit. And we also went through the transition of before I had lived by all of my family, and now I didn't know anyone. I didn't have any friends or any family to support me when we moved. And also before I had worked full time and had a job, and we split housework evenly, and now I was a stay-at-home mom. And I didn't get out of the house, and I didn't have a social life, and he thought that since I was home I should do everything. And there was just a lot of stuff to work through, and it was definitely, after that 10 months apart was probably the roughest time in our marriage. Postpartum depression, and I was just upset and a little bit resentful of him. We made these choices together, but it was really hard. I did not understand the effect that it was going to take on me. And we were a newly married couple. We had only been married a year when he first left. So we had 1 year of marriage, and then he left for 10 months, and I was newly pregnant. So it was such a huge adjustment, and it took a toll on us for sure. After that, we went through the really, really rough spot, and then eventually we just matured, and I realized we're a team here. We're not fighting each other. It's not me against my husband or my husband against me. Like, we're doing this together, and we need to parent together, and we need to love each other. And if he interrupts our schedule a little bit and wants to spend time with his daughter, I need to leave that alone and let him be a dad, because he is the dad. And all of that, we just kind of matured and realized, you know what, this isn't worth it. Once we realized that, we were super happy again, and everything was just good, and it fell into place. About 6 months later, he went on his first deployment, and that deployment was about 3 months long. We are fortunate in the Air Force that our deployments usually aren't as long as like the Marines is, or the Army, or even the Navy. I think theirs are longer. But his deployment that he went on was 3 months, and that was from the time I was 5 to 8 months pregnant with Josiah. So he was gone during some of my pregnancy, but he was able to be home for the birth, and everything was good, and we adjusted as a family, and it was fine. And also, as a reservist, he is gone 1 weekend of every month, and so that is hard on us a little bit, but it's really not a huge deal. I know people who have civilian jobs that still have a couple nights here and there that they aren't able to be with their families, but for the most part he is home, which is awesome. We have had a couple of other times throughout his military career so far where he had to do trainings or something and was gone for 4 to 6 weeks at a time, and that's always kind of hard, but we always just try to look at it as positively as we can and say, you know what, we're training our children, we're training ourselves for how it's going to be like in the case of a deployment. And that's just kind of what we look at it as, and we did sign up for this. This is our lives, and it is something we have to deal with, and you know what, it's hard, but the military has been very good to us. We're thankful and proud to be a military family, even though my husband is a reservist and he's not active duty. As far as like overcoming distance in your marriage and being apart so long, like that is definitely a huge struggle, and that is something we have to just actively work on. You know, when he's not deployed and he's not on military duty, we put our marriage first. Our marriage comes before our children. Our marriage is important because when the kids are gone, we're still gonna have each other, and we are a team. So dates are important to us. We probably don't go on as many as we would like to. Try to go and enjoy each other, and we do. We really enjoy each other. We really love each other. We're not just parenting together. Like, no, we're actually a team here. We're actually in love, and so we put our marriage first so that we have that bond. That way, when he does get deployed or he does have to go on training, it's already established, and we're there together, and we're doing this together, and we're holding each other up during that. Now, past boot camp, we have not had an experience other than boot camp where we have been unable to talk to each other. So another thing we do is when he's gone, we talk every day. Unless there's something going on that we have established ahead of time, hey, this night is busy, we're probably not going to be able to talk. We do talk every day while he's gone. So that allows us to really just keep our intimacy there, keep our marriage going, keep everything there, so that when he comes home, it's not like, who are you? You're a stranger. And honestly, the first spurt there with boot camp and skill school, he did kind of feel like a stranger when he would come home, and it was hard. It was like, who are you? I mean, even though he hadn't changed and I hadn't changed, but when you don't talk to someone very much, or you can't physically touch them, you can't be around them, it does create a distance. So we do everything we can to just keep ourselves together, and then, you know what, when we come back home, we come back together, and it is hard, and we're trying to readjust to all that. We just make as much time as we can to actually have quality time and focus in on each other and really give each other the best of what we can give. That way we can just come back together and seamlessly mold back into our regular lifestyle and being a family again. Something else I would say that for sure is great if you're a military wife is there is a lot of support groups. I don't know about everyone else's bases, but on mine, when your husband is deployed, they will call you and check in. They have events that they do, and that's really great. When we did live on base, or close to base I should say, we never lived on base, but when we did, we took advantage of those programs. They're there for a reason and they're good to have. And so definitely having support like that and having that community is a huge help. And then also having any friends. Having a friend, maybe you have a friend that doesn't have kids, that has some extra time on her hands. If you can get that friend to come over and babysit so you can go out, or get that friend to come over and just hang out with you here and there so that you're not the only adult in your household all the time, that is definitely good, and there is no shame in doing that. Like, we need each other, we need support, and if somebody's there to support us, we should, you know, let them be a blessing to us and accept that support, and then we'll get our chance to turn around and bless somebody again at another time. Above all, I think it's just really nice to have people that understand what you're going through. Once you have a friend that also is a military spouse that gets it, that's been there, that is so crucial. My sister-in-law is a military wife as well. Steven's brother is in the Navy. So during that first deployment, when I was just so upset and having such a hard time coping with that, my sister-in-law was there walking me through it. This is what you can expect. This is what you can do. This is what helped me. And having somebody like that was just so helpful, because it is hard to be separated from your spouse, and it's hard to not know what to expect, or to have all these intense emotions and feelings going on and not know if you're just losing your mind or if this is normal. And it's so good to have the help through that. Don't have a community or a support system? I would say start making one now. Don't wait until your husband is deployed to start making friends. You know, start making those friends now. Start, you know, calling in your family now. Let them know. Like, I tell our family when Steven's going to be gone a while, I'm like, hey, listen, he's going to be gone from here to here, and I'm probably going to need some help. And we do that. And also my husband and I, we put aside extra money when he's gone for long periods of time. He usually gets a little bit more pay because he gets like hazard pay for being deployed or some kind of extra pay while he's gone. And we put that aside to help me out, to help for a babysitter here and there, like someone to help clean the house. Like, we don't have a lot of money to do that, but if we have a couple hundred extra a month that we can use, then we have agreed that that extra money while he's gone is to help out the family. So we will help out our family that way, and that helps as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit all over the place. Being a military wife can definitely be hard, but I love the community that it brings. I love all the other moms that, you know, you just instantly have that connection because you're all military spouses and you know what you're going through, and you can just lift each other up and be there for each other 100%. And if you are a military spouse, leave it in the comments below. And if you guys have any questions or anything you want to know, just comment and I will try to answer them. And thank you guys for watching. We will see you in our next video. Bye.